Autoclose form. Another free lesson to help you become a better coder. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Your continued support helps make these videos possible. And as always, I thank you all for watching this video. So in this tutorial, I will show you how to close form automatically. This usually happens when a form or a control on the form is inactive for specified time. Let's see how I accomplish this. Alright, let's open up All Access. Let's create a new blank database. You know what? Let's close that out. I think yeah, we're gonna delete this guy. See there, it's saved in the document folder, so I'm gonna delete that guy. Actually, I'm gonna go to document folder here. See there, I'm gonna delete that. I don't want it saved in there, so let's try it again. Open that guy, click once, go to the folder, and let's navigate to our folder. Access projects, create new folder. Let's call this auto close form. Alright, let's go in there. Same name, auto close form, and create. Let me show you what inspired me to do this project. Let's go to YouTube. So I was watching this video. It's AAA Tech. This video right here, it says login form with inactivity log off. So what I want to do here, I watched this video all the way up to maybe 30 minutes. What I want to do here, I want to implement similar situation, but the same idea but different, slightly different way of coding. All right. I encourage you to watch this video and watch mine as well. Then you can decide which one you can want to work with. Obviously, this guy has a login, log off using a database, where mine will not have a login form. All right, we're just going to automatically close the form if it's inactive. But anyways, yeah, let's get to our code. All right. But thank you AAA Tech for the idea. So we're going to implement similar situation, but with less coding. All right, let's go to module. Let's call this form timer. All right. So we are going to need a couple of things in here. We are going to need the how about public idle time in second as long. Now the reason why I use long is because the seconds, the tick is 1000. Every 1000 is a second. All right, so we don't want to use an integer. All right, it could be problematic in the future because this guy will increment by 1000. All right, so that's what we want. And then we also want the end time in second. Now this one This one we are going to use double just because we're going to send in the minute instead of a second. Obviously, you don't want to type 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. All right, you just want to type 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes type, and then we're just going to convert in here. So we're going to use double. All right. Other thing that we need is the previous form name. We want to identify the previous form name. Previous control name. We also want to see the active form name, active control name. Now this is similar to what the AAA tag did, except different way of coding. All right, so so we got those. How about this? Make this a string. The next thing that we want to do is to let's create a function called set form timer. This guy will be active form name, active control name, and then the end, that would be double n in minute. Here's where I was talking about as double. Now double means you can pass in 0.1, 0.2. all right, this is basically like a decimal. All right, you could easily say decimal here as well instead of double. All right, so you can say decimal there. So let's set this guy. Gonna idle time in second. This will reset to 0 initially, and then the end time in second. This will be the d in you know what, that's going to be end time in minute, time 60. So a minute times 60 seconds times interval 1000 is 1 second. So that's how you convert it to seconds in interval. So I'm going to change this guy to time right there. All right, and now we can say previous. No, not previous. We want to say active form name equals active form name, and then active control name equals s active control name, and then we're gonna make this guy a boolean. Let's return as a boolean. Oops. True. All right. Now the next thing that we want to do, we want to have a routine that checks the end time and the idle time. So if idle time is the same as end time, then we want to close the form. That's what we want to do. So what do we need here? Obviously, we're gonna need a couple of things here. Let's do sub. How about check idle status? And then we're gonna pass in What's going on? Check idle status there. And then we're going to pass in active name. So I'm going to copy. Oh, you know what? Let's define this guy as string. My bad. See there? As string. Just like that. And let's copy this guy. We're going to need this guy. So this will be the form timer that's going to pass in. Alright. And just like that. And we're going to pass in the tick. Alright, the tick, which is the time interval. Alright, so let's put this in behind here, bar, val, long, timer, interval as long. Alright, so here, what we want to do here, we want to define the error. So if there's an error at all on arrow, resume next. Alright, so if there is any error, we want it to continue to check. Alright, now we want to say active form name equals s active form name. Alright, and then we want to say active control name equals s active control name. I had to think about it a little bit. Alright, just a little. So that's what it is. Alright, so now when we set this guy, there's a possibility there's an error in there doing the switching of the form. Alright, doing the switching of the form. So we could say if error, then active form name equals no active form. Alright, and then similarly we want to do the same here. If error, when we set this control, error. What happened? Well, let's do this first. Then active control name equals no active control. I'm gonna copy this guy. Something isn't correct. I might have one too many there. Active control name. Okay. Alright. And then the next thing that we want to do is we want to make sure to set the previous form to current form so that we can continue to increment. Alright. So here we can say if previous form name equals active form name, gonna parentheses that, close that out, or previous control name equals active control name, then else, just like so. So if it's not the same, then what we want to do here, I'm just gonna copy this guy. If it's not the same, we want it to be the same. Copy this guy, like so. Alright, and then we'll also want to set this guy idle time. So the idle time will be 0. Alright, just like when we set this guy right here. Same. All right. And then if it's the same, then we want this idle time equals idle time plus timer interval, just like that. All right. Now the next thing that we want to do here is to validate if idle time is greater than or equals to n time in second. Then we want to close the form. You see there? Now that's the reason why I want to make that guy a second. See? So it's easier for us to identify what they are. All right. Obviously, you want to convert this minute to seconds, then it's easier to identify. All right. So here we want to say, let's create a variable as form variable here, and then here we can say for each form in forms, and if next, like so. So what we want to do here, we want to say we want to close the form. All right, close AC form, comma, name. That's all we want to do. So that's it. That's a function. That's pretty nice and simple. Not a whole lot. All right. First we set what we want to remember. All right, and then we check. We come in here for every second. We come in here and identify. We increment this guy. You see, we increment this guy. If it's the same, that means the form is the same. You're on the same form. The user is on the same form. We're gonna keep increment it. All right. But as soon as this control name changes, like the text box, the drop down box, if anything that changes on there, it's going to get a new control here. All right. And if this guy changes, that means it's not going to be the same. It's going to reset the idle time to 0. All right. So idle time will continue to be resetting as long as you're moving on that form. The moment that you stop moving, meaning idle, is going to increment right here. All right. That means the form is the same, control is the same, nothing move. All right. And it's gonna increment. So that's how that works. That's how that works. So let's see how that works. All right. So let's go ahead and save this guy. Control S. Form timer. All right. Now let's add a form to control our timer. This will be a timer form. So let's save this guy as form. How about idle timer. All right. And in here on this property sheet, let's scroll down to the time interval right here. See there? Change that 0 to 1000. That means it's going to tick every second. All right. And let's go in here. And in here, we're just going to call form timer check. See there? Idle time. This would be the screen, meaning whatever is on this screen. How about active form? Oops. How about active form? There. And then name. All right. And here is the control name. So the active control name. and then the time interval, which is me timer interval, just like that. So we're gonna call that and keep checking this guy, that guy. All right. So that's it. That's all we have to do for that timer. Let's Control S. Let's save that guy and close. All right. Now let's do a test form. So this will be our test. Let's add a control and change this control to txt. How about entry? That's good enough. I'm going to make this label a little larger, something like so. Name that guy test form 1. Alright, and let's format this guy. Let's make this guy big, center, black. That looks good. And this guy will be entry. So when we let's call this guy test 1. When we open this guy, we want to on the current right here, on form current, we want this guy to set up if form timer set. You see that, set form timer. So we want to pass in the form name, which is me name, and then the control name, which is the text. Obviously, make sure you pass in the name. Obviously, you want to be setting that control as a set focus on that control. That way it knows what it is. All right. And then we want to let's see. We want to send in, how about 10 seconds? So 0.5. All right, 0.5 is a half minute. That's a 10 seconds. All right, so we're gonna check out on the 10 seconds. Ooh, then my bad. If, then, and if. And then once this is done, we want to call. We want to do open form. We want to open the timer. How about idle timer? So we want to open that timer. Also, when we close this guy, when we close this guy, meaning on unload, we want to close this guy. All right, we want to close that guy. So let's select this guy right here, unload. I'm gonna copy this guy. On unload, we are going to close this guy. Change this to close AC. Close AC form, and then that guy. So that's what we want. All right, that's what we want. So when we close, we want to do that. All right, so let's double check on this guy. So here and right here, we don't want to close the timer in case this form was the timer form was read before before the test form, all right, is going to close the timer before this guy. Therefore, this guy will not ever be closed, all right, because the timer stops working. So what we want to do is we want to prevent the timer from closing. That way it keeps checking in this procedure. So we're going to say if form name not equal, then, all right, now the clever way to do is, let's do this. Let's pass in, as a matter of fact, I'm going to go right behind this guy right here. Let's be a little clever. How about timer form name? Timer form name as string. So now we can just say, I'm going to copy this guy right here. And now we're going to say, so if that form is not a timer, all right, close, all right, because in here, when it closes this form, it's going to close this form as well, you see. All right, so let's go in the timer. Let's pass in the timer name. All right, so here is a timer name. You see there, timer form name. So we're going to put dot name. That's it. Control S. Well, that looks pretty easy. Not a whole lot of coding. It doesn't look too intimidating. All right, so let's test it out. That's the first thing that we want to do. Does it work, right? So let's do that. Okay, all right, so something's not right there. Oh, I was going to check this guy out. This control name right here was misspelled. All right, Control S. I meant to check that earlier. All right, so let's see if it closes in 10 seconds. Ta-da! Well, is it at 10 seconds? Well, let's open up the stopwatch. I think stopwatch.net here. I use it. I remember using it. Stopwatch.net. There. All right. We're going to see if this guy works as coded. All right, so I'm gonna make this guy smaller. So let's click on this guy and start. 10 seconds. Perfect. Look at that. Nice. Let's pause that. So, well, yeah. Well, let's do some more tweaking. We can add copy. I'm gonna add a couple controls in here. All right. So obviously, on the form, a user will be doing certain things, certain tasks on the form. All right. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to keep tapping, tap this guy, so that every time we tap, if you notice, this active control, all right, will be changed. So when this guy changes, that means the previous control will not ever equal to this guy, and it's going to jump to here, and it's going to reset to 0, 0, 0, 0. And then it should go on beyond 10 seconds. All right. So that is a way we can test it out. All right. So I'm going to control save that. Let's double check on this index. That's 0, that's 1, that's 2. You see that index 1 2 0 1 2. All right, so I'm going to close that out. Save. Before I do that, I want to make sure my timer comes up. Reset, and let's start. And let's start. And now I'm going to come back in here. You see there, and I'm going to tab. If it goes, oh, it's so close, it didn't change. It didn't change. Well, I wonder if we could do this. This could be the issues here. Copy. I'm gonna copy that guy. Get rid of this guy. And then move this guy to here. And then we're gonna say else do this. Or no, that's good. I think that because of the or, you see. I think because of the or, if we say equals or, so this will always equal and it will not ever come in here. And if you take a look at it, for instance, we had this guy equals. I think this is the problem right here. This is, well, you know, as programmer, this is what you need. So if this guy equals, well, this guy will always equal, but we keep changing this guy. But it says or right here, so it will never come in here. All right, but if we did this, that means either this or this changes, we're going to reset. That's what it means. All right, so either this one or this one changes, we're going to reset. All right, I think this will work. All right, this is better, because you cannot have this one equal, because that control, that form name we were on the same form name, you see, and when we will keep changing this guy control, but it never came in here. It never came in here because of this guy equals. All right, let's see if that logic makes sense. I'm gonna come up with this guy. Oh, reset. Let's try that again. Start. So what I want to do here, I want to keep tabbing this guy, and we should go beyond 10 seconds. You see there? Every time I tab, it changes. It resets to 0. We're up to 20 seconds now. So as long as I'm working, this form will not ever close. All right. All right. Now when it gets to 40 seconds, I'm going to stop tabbing. Okay. I stop tabbing. Okay. Now I'm going to stop. Let's see if it's going to close at 50 seconds. Perfect. Well, close. All right. That's how that works. You see there? That is how that works. So how do you, I'm going to stop this timer. Thank you for the timer. So how do you get this guy to work with all the forms? All right. Well, before I continue, like I said, I want to share with you, I don't like to make things difficult, okay? So as a programmer, you want to streamline your code. Make sure you understand each line, what it does, all right? For example, we just had issues with this guy. It didn't reset. That was because if this form, previous form equals the active form, or, you see, or in here, you should not come in here. All right, so we had that. I just reversed that with the not equal to, and that made that made it different. All right, so that's what you need to know. So you can roll back and watch what happened before, and this was reversed. All right, just due to this logic right here, the operator here. Okay, so with this operator, this way we want to do. All right, and it's real easy to follow, very easy to debug. And here just open the form, that's it, and close the form, that's it. All right, and here just a one-liner. So that is the logic that I came up with the same result as the AAA tech. All right, nothing wrong with his. Okay, like I said many times, programmers they have their own way of coding and seeing things differently. So let's fancy this up. I'm gonna make a copy of that guy and call it form test 2. One more, form test 3. So we're gonna have 3 test forms and then one main. Right? How about this one, main? All right. So let's open this main up. We're gonna add 3 buttons to open these guys and see what happens here. All right. One, copy, paste. Let's go ahead and name this guy test 1, and then control name, command test 1, and then we'll go ahead and go in and double click on that guy, and then this guy is test 2. Name this guy CMD test 2. Again, go in there, double click on this little box and go in there, switch back, test 3, CMD test 3, event, there. All right, so here we're gonna open. First off, before you open these forms, one thing that you need to do is to close all the form. All right, so let's do this. Obviously you don't want to keep opening up all the forms scattered out all over the place. It's not a good design. As a matter of fact, I'll show you what it is. Do command here. I've got this guy right here. See that? You can copy this guy. Copy. Paste. Form. Test 1. That's it. Form. Test 2. FRM. Test 3. Alright. So I just want to show you first off, this main right here, we gotta get rid of this guy. Close. Alright, so what we want to do here, I want to show you this is not what you want. Alright, we open this guy. See there? And it's going to close that guy. We test one button at a time. There it went. You see there? But well, it also closed our main. So what I want to do here, I'm going to recopy this guy. Oops, my bad. And go in here. We don't want to close our main form right here. You see there? So it closed everything. All right. So now let's add more stuff in here. When we check, we want to pass in the main form name as well. Obviously, once you code this guy, all right, once you code this guy, you don't want to have to come in here and keep changing, all right, or hard coding. For example, if form name not equal, see that, that's hard coding. Or and, how about and? You see that? You don't want hard coding in like this. That's not good. You never want to hard code anything in there. And in my videos, I don't remember hard coding anything in my code. All right. So and that's what you want to do. You don't want to hard code anything in there. So what we want to do here, we'll go ahead and say this is the timer form. We're going to add the main form. All right. If you do have a main form, if you don't, then that's okay. You can leave this out. So we'll call main form name as string. And now I'm just going to copy this guy, put it in here. You see there? Now your main form now can be any name, you see. Now your main form can be any name. Alright, so now let's get back to this guy right here. You see this? So right there, that parameter calls for the main form. And here you can just you can just hard code it in there and say, hey, my main form is this one. And you don't ever have to go in there because that guy works. Alright, so that's what you do. Alright, let's see if that does what we think it should. Alright, let's go main. Let's try that first one again. Good, you see there? So it doesn't close our main. Alright, that's because we made adjustment right here. Main form. You see there? This form right here, this timer form, that will automatically be closed on unload, you see. So we don't have to close it there in the timer. Alright. So I think that's the best way to do. You see there? Good. They're all the same. And now what we want is, this is what we don't want. We don't want to open this guy, and we don't want to open this guy. You see there? And we don't want to open this guy, because if one of these guys closes, the timer closes, that means it will not recognize this because the timer will stop. I'll show you how. Watch. So there you go. See there? That guy did not stop. The timer stopped, but that form will not ever close. What we really want to do here, let me show you what we want to do. I'll go ahead and close that guy. What we want to do here on main, before we open this guy, we want to do this. Close all forms. This is what we want to do. I've got this guy right here. I'm just going to come in here. Yeah, if you're a little quicker, you can think of where you put stuff in. So here, I'm going to take this idle out, because obviously we want to close all the forms. So what we want to do is we want to close all the form except this form, except me, name. You see that? That's what we want to do on this main form. So you just do it one time on the main form, and now you can say call call Control S. Now it's going to close and reopen, close, open. You see that? It closes first and then it opens this guy. And that's what you want to do. Alright. So let's close that out. Let's see if that works. So if we open this guy, it opens that guy. Now we will switch over here. Now watch. It's open that guy. And that timer will always remain because every time we open a form, one of these forms, that timer is there. We want that timer to be there always, you see. And that's how that works. And if you switch back here, you can open as many as we want. But as soon as this guy ends up or is idle at the time interval, it's going to close. Watch. Perfect. And that's how you want it to do. Alright. Now obviously you don't want to set it to obviously you don't want to set it to 10 seconds. So if we put this one as 1 minute, just enter 1, and that will be 60 seconds. And I don't want to bore you down with that 60 seconds. I'm just going to keep this guy right here. But you can see how less coding in here. All right, in the main form, so this is just opening the form, and then we got one form to close all the forms before opening each form. All right. Now in this individual form, you got two, one on current and one on unload. The on unload is just closing the timer. All right. The on current, all it does is just set the timer and then open the timer. Set the timer parameters and then open the timer. And that's all you have to do. And all three of these forms look the same. And you can basically just copy like this and put in any form. All right. For instance, I'm going to go ahead and close that out. Let's go to the design. So if I want to make another form test 4, for instance, I'm going to copy this guy, copy, paste, and then move this guy to the right, like so. And then make this guy a 4, change the name, CMD test 4, and then go into the click event. All I have to do is just copy this guy. See how easy it is? Just copy that. See? And then change that to 4. Alright? And in here, in the main form, see that? It's all the same. That's all you have to do. It's real nice and easy, and you don't have to do anything. Just copy, paste. But the brain is here. See how easy that code is read? You can basically identify this is, I consider this is nice and clean coding, all right? And it makes more sense, all right? Nothing is hard coded in here. And you don't have to touch it. You just do one time and you're done. All right, and that's how that works. All right. So there you have it. This see that when you switch form, that timer, it looks like it remains the same, but actually when you switch, it closes and it reopens so fast that you can't even tell. You see there? It does switch in, or it closes the timer and it reopens again so fast that you can tell. And that's how that works. All right. So now 10 seconds, this form will end, and the main form still remains open. Look at that. That's nice. Now that is called programming. There you have it. Happy programming. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, like, share, and hit that bell. And also comment below, and if you need help, inbox me. Thanks again.